All right, hey guys, Justin Van Ferrari here, and I am with, who is this? Who is this back here? Hey, sir, what's your name?
Lincoln.
Oh yeah, that's my 5-year-old son, Lincoln. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching my adventure. I had an overnight here in Watervliet, and standing behind me is the shelter. Obviously recording this after the fact, but Lincoln and I wanted to come out here. I wanted to show him the shelter. I wanted to show you the shelter, and I just want to thank you for watching this. So I went out last Friday, and I was super excited because it was probably the last day that it will actually get below zero this year, right? Until winter, until fall and winter. So I wanted to get out one last time. Forecast was rainy, and I wanted to challenge myself a little bit, and so an overnight. It wasn't about food. It wasn't about shelter building. It was really about staying warm. So took no sleeping bag, nothing to keep warm. And I intentionally, when I crossed the river, I intentionally got my boots wet because I wanted my feet to be wet in freezing temperatures, and I just wanted the practice in kind of a safe environment. Really getting out and staying warm, staying dry, figuring out how to do that. So yeah, I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy. You're about to see a little bit of my craziness, and I appreciate you watching. Enjoy.
What is that?
Oh, that's part of my shelter. That's another spot where the tree fell down, huh?
And what is this?
Yep, that is where I slept, right there. Not in that stick.
Well, did you?
That was just, I hung my socks there to dry my socks off.
Oh, so
that's what that was for, because look, what's right underneath that?
A rock?
Yep, in my fire pit. And so when the fire was going, it kept my socks, got my socks warm and dry.
What is this?
And that was a stick I used to move stuff around in the fire. And look at that wood back there. What do you think that wood back there is down on the floor? Yep, right there. What was that?
I don't know.
That was my bed. I couldn't find enough grass to get up off the ground. And that's one of the most important things, to get up off the ground when it's cold out, because the ground will suck your body heat. So I found that bark, I found that wood, and it was not the most comfortable bed, but guess what?
Huh.
It was pretty comfy. It was comfortable enough. Kept me up off the ground.
Hey,
and see my pillow?
Yeah.
I used that straw. There's a rock under there, but the rock's kind of hard.
Little crack?
Yeah, and I put all those sticks and that bark there.
So you had time to put everything else there, but not those?
Yep, I ran out of time. I didn't get a chance to put that, but that's okay. It kept me dry and it kept me warm.
Hey, I want to see if I could fit in there.
Okay. Maybe next time we come, you can go in there and that can be your spot right under there.
Okay, that can be my bed, but we'll have to make my bed.
Oh yeah? Maybe we'll have to get some wood. Oh look, it's a bone. I've made it to the spot, and looks like they're doing a little construction back in here, but this is where it gets real. I'm going to cross the river, ditch my bike, and then I'm going to stay the night here. It is, when I left the house, it was about 45 degrees, and it's going to get down below freezing tonight, so I got to build a shelter, something to retain my body heat. I did not bring a sleeping bag, did not bring any food or anything. So I'm just out to have fun. Well, it was definitely deeper than my boots, which I anticipated. And so I'm going to have to empty these out. They're a little waterlogged before I continue my journey. So bear with me here for a few minutes. Okay, it's not too bad now. Definitely not too cold, but it's going to get down below freezing, so I need to definitely make a nice warm shelter, and I'm going to definitely need to get my feet dry. Otherwise, I'm going to have some issues tonight when it freezes. So let's go find camp. Wow, they have really done an incredible job back here. This is absolutely amazing. Came back here one time and this whole area looked like that. Just scrub. It's amazing what big machinery can do. So I don't know what's going on with my other camera. I guess I'm going to use my phone. So I found a place to ditch my bike. Nobody in their right mind will be back here this evening, especially with how dark. I don't know if you can see this back here behind me. It's getting a little dark and overcast. Let's see if we can. So I may need to find shelter much quicker than I thought. So let's get on that. Okay, I got to move on this because I think the weather's going to turn in. But here is what I brought with me today. Okay, let's start that over. Okay. All right, well, here is what I brought with me today. Brought a little pot to boil some water. If I can get a fire going, get my shelter built. This baby, Spetsnaz shovel that I just got, it is clean, it is pretty, it is brand spanking new. So, inspired by Zach Fowler. Thank you, Zach. Alone season 3, and I thought, you know what, that looked like a pretty handy tool. I'm gonna try it out. Packed my pockets full of a few other items, necessities. I got my headlamp, just because it's annoying to do that in the dark, and get my neck knife right here, a Mora fire steel, which my intention is to only use my fire steel if absolutely necessary. There's plenty of wood, I think plenty of dry wood out here to get a friction fire going. I'm gonna have to make some cordage, so I don't have any cordage other than this that I suppose I could snag. Let's see, the other items that I have, I did bring out some made that little nifty bait last time. Didn't have any luck, but I thought I'd give it a try again. Brought some fishing line, and in this pocket right here, bought a battery pack, except I forgot the cord, so once the battery's dead, it's dead, and that is just dead weight. So I have nothing else other than my phone that I'm going to use when this battery dies. It's in airplane mode, so hopefully it will last through the evening. But let's direct our attention over here and let's get this shelter going. Okay, this is a beauty right here. This is a sweet find. May not look like much to you, but this is going to be home tonight. Here's the back side. This is very sturdy. I mean, it's dead, and there's not much headroom, but I really don't need much down in there. This tree is so wide that that it's going to cover me from any rain. It's going to shield any rain that comes on. This little triangle in here, I'm going to clear that out, and it's going to be a beautiful spot for a nice little fire to keep me warm. And man, I'm actually pretty excited about this. All right. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, I did bring some nice leather gloves, and I'm excited to get started with this. Let's see what. And he makes it look so much easier. There we go. Oh yeah. Okay, so just as I suspected, it is starting to rain, and good news is I have a dry shelter. The bad news is I did not get a chance to finish anything. I don't really have a ton to get up off the ground. Getting off the ground, getting my feet dry are going to be the keys to staying warm here tonight. So it's sprinkling, and I'm trying to figure out, does it make sense to get wet in order to try to get up off the ground, or does it make sense to stay in here and stay dry? I do have my coat. I do have some other layers of stuff that I can layer up with and get dry. So I think I may at least get some wood that I can use for fuel. And I need to try to get something to get me up off the ground. There's not a lot green, and I've been looking around, and the leaves, there are leaves, but they're going to be really hard to harvest and get, and there's no grass anywhere around here. So I do need to get off the ground. That's step one. I do need to get at least some kindling that's dry so that I can start my fire. And I think I may be trying to pack too much in to a single overnight, but I have like 8 hours total. I'd be out of here at 9 a.m. for a meeting, and I got here about 5. So 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. Well, I guess that's 16 hours. So, and about 7 of them will be sleeping. So, but I had to get out. I was going crazy. My wife is out of town, and this was the perfect thing to do this weekend. So, all right, well, it's pausing, very lightly drizzling. I'm gonna go out and harvest some stuff. Okay, here I am in my shelter, and by golly, the sun's come back out. So let's see what happens. But you're gonna think I'm crazy, and you wouldn't be the first one to think I'm crazy. A lot of people think I'm crazy, but I think I found my way to get up off the ground. I just found these fairly flat pieces of wood, and yeah, I'm in kind of an awkward position right here because I'm trying to show you my bed, and it's gonna get my body off the ground, and my boots are gonna get my feet off the ground. So I think I'm golden, and look at that, sun is shining behind me, so this is gonna be beautiful. Might even be able to get more done on my shelter. Basically just got a wall to kind of trap some of the heat in here, and if I get some debris, throw it in there, I think we'll be good. I didn't intend to do some fishing today. Didn't think I'd have time, but I'm pretty confident with my shelter. I've wrung my boots out a little bit, my socks out a little bit. I feel like I'm gonna be all right. And I got everything ready for the fire. So I would say about an hour till dark, till dusk. So I'm gonna mess around fishing here for a little while, see if I catch anything. If not, it's not the end of the world. It's not the first night I've gone to bed on an empty stomach. So see what we can do. Oh yeah, so I've got this bait that I made from some orange paracord here, and I found a worm. This guy's not looking too good. I'll cast him out 1 or 2 more times. I actually found several worms, so let's see what we can do. Okay, walking through here, I see a ton of, looks like raccoon tracks, and back over here there's raccoon, there's duck. Look at that, it's pretty popular watering hole. I don't think you can see it on here, but this, you can see it. I've tied it off and I'm going to let it fish for me right here. I found a spot underneath the log. See here? Right under that log, just down from the rapids. So I'm hoping that there will be a fish that comes to check out this spot at some point. And I'm losing daylight, so it is time to head out and start building my fire. Hunker down for the evening. All right, before I head back to camp, let me dry my socks out one more time. All right, using my socks kind of as a mop in my boots. And every 20 minutes or half hour or so, I'll take and wring them out, and hopefully it's soaking up a lot of the moisture inside the boots. It's likely my feet may get cold, we'll see. I could always use these as toe socks. Nah, we'll be all right. Okay, so I'm feeling pretty good. I've got my rain shell on because it actually is starting to rain, and it's raining a decent amount. So I went and got water. I'm feeling better about the rain right now because I've got all of my firewood and everything. I've got some nice dry tinder, and so I'm going to start a fire. I didn't mean to downplay the wetness of my feet. I kind of just, yeah, it's going to be fine. That's kind of my mentality all the time. But I've done this before, and I'm prepared. I know what to do, and so I'm not worried about it. But it really can be having wet feet, being wet, going to bed wet. That can actually be a pretty dire situation if not attended to properly. And so, man, no matter how hard you try to stay warm, if you're soaking wet, it's impossible. And no matter how hard you try and stay warm, if you can't get up off the ground, I can get a fire going. I'm going to dry out my socks, and that's why I said it's not that big a deal. We'll make it. It will get below freezing tonight, and so the fact that it's raining now, and then below freezing, that really could be disastrous. It's actually easier to get hypothermia in this kind of weather than it is, even in freezing temperatures. In freezing temperatures, a lot of times it's not wet, and you still got to be careful not to sweat. Make sure you have proper clothing because you can. But a lot of people suffer from hypothermia in just barely freezing temperatures or just above freezing when it's wet. So don't underestimate the cold, but don't underestimate the wet, even if it's only moderately cold. Of course, my perspective of moderately cold may be slightly different from most people's, and to me, 30 degrees is really 30 to 40 is kind of almost t-shirt weather if you're active and you're moving around. So all right, without further ado, I am going to get my fire going, boil some water, hunker down, because no sense in getting more wet. So, and we're going to lose daylight. It's going to be dark pretty soon, and I would say within a half hour or so, the sun will have set, and then the darkness comes on pretty quickly. So let's get this fire going. It is absolutely vital you're starting a fire that you have all the kindling you need within arm's reach, because otherwise it makes it really difficult to keep it going. So that didn't take much. I know I said I was going to do a bow drill. I actually gathered a few pieces, I don't know where they went, for a bow drill fire, but I decided with the rain and the time that I had allowed that I just go the easy route. Alrighty. Okay, fire is going. I didn't have to use hardly any of my tinder, and I've got all the different size pieces of wood all stacked back in there, and I'm actually sitting on one as well, and I can just slowly feed that into the fire with some of this other stuff I have. I also found just an awesome find. Found a big flat rock, and found a bunch of rocks. So the idea behind this is even after the fire goes out or the fire dies down, these rocks are going to heat up, and they are going to provide extra warmth throughout the night. And if I get cold and the fire's dead and I fell asleep and didn't tend to it enough, I can just snag one of those rocks. A lot of people refer to them as happy rocks, and they'll make you happy, keep you nice and warm, snuggle up. Be careful you don't get too hot of rocks, because that can be disastrous as well. Oh man, water is boiling, and that's my supper tonight. What do you guys think? Oh, most of you are home in the comforts of your home watching this, and you're thinking, I'm so glad I have my potato chips. So glad I have my popcorn. Oh man, that guy's crazy. Yes. Good morning. Definitely got below freezing last night, and so thankful for my fire. Man, thankful for my shelter. That was incredible. It rained off and on all night. Everything is soaking wet here. It's not raining now, but yeah, here's a look at my fire, my shelter one last time before I head back to the real world. That wood there is actually pretty comfortable, I have to admit. Not the most comfortable not the most comfortable bed that I've ever slept in, but it did the job. And man, that whole shelter kept me dry. You see a little bit of daylight through there. I think it definitely trapped some heat, because it's warmer in there than it is out here. So, all right, I got to put the fire out, head back. One last thing before I leave. Not looking super hopeful, but I put in this fishing line, nothing on it. Nothing there, but worth a try anyway, huh? Okay, so now it's back to the real world. My boots are soaked yet again, but I think I'll make it. I gotta be a sight riding through town and all my my stuff. I got my my shovel, my canteen. Everything else is just in pockets. So, all right.